Good evening, everybody, and welcome to King Dolphin Television, episode 279. Tonight, we're going to do something, it's going to be something different. It is the Fantastic Four reviews, but there was a graphic novel that I have that I really want to start a review on. So, we're going to talk about uh, the graphic novel Books of Doom. Ooh. I'll tell you what, this one was a chilling book. It tells the real story, or at least from a certain point of view, about Doctor Doom's origin. So we're I like that, Legatus. Mama Doom and Papa Doom did some snoo, and Baby Doom later grew up to become Doctor Doom. Is that the story? Yeah, I guess. Um, yes, it is. It's from Brubaker. But before we get started, let's if you like these reviews, if you like the interviews that I do, and if you love Just Cuz, please like, subscribe, and if you know people that want to come on and be interviewed, please invite them, and then I'll reach out to them and we will get some interviews. And if you want to help out the channel, I'm not monetized, but if you really want to kind of help out here, I'm working on putting up the story. I hate when it's the first line because then you got these silly little emojis. Let's see. All right. Please go to the tip stream and leave some ducats in the bucket so that it keeps the lights on, keeps these reviews coming, and keeps Snortopupus in Walrus. Let's give the channel the seal of approval. Oh, yeah, that was bad even for me. All right, so we shall start by welcoming. Right now, it's only Wrenches. Hopefully, others will come on. But let me thank the Wrenches that are here. We've got Comic Relief Crusader was the first one in today, but if you count the earlier times that he's been on, the first one in, the last one out, Legatus Legionnaire. And we've got the Comic Relief Crusader. We've got our producer, Sandra. Love you, honey. Hope you enjoyed our meal today. But let me go real quick into that. We have a place right across the street from us called the Dining Room. And we've ever since we moved there, we went there, just walked across the street, had great mom and pop food. We absolutely love it. And what happened was we just found out tonight when we went over there that they're closing. So we're both pretty sad. We're really, really sad about it because it's been an icon for decades, and now the economy has slapped down another small business. And hello, Agent Pepsi One, Agent Pepsi One, Agent Pepsi One. They've given you a number and taken away your name. And lastly, but not leastly, You know him, you love him, you feed him walruses. Let's welcome Snortopus Cuber dot scream hashtag roar. Yeah, Mini Snort asked me to come on today as a special, since it's something completely different. Mini Snort asked me to come on, so it's time for the show. Let's get the review going. See, things are really weird here at King Dolphin TV. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for my theme song. Yep. Let's see. Hello, Cobalt and Pudgy. Eagle and I love the avatar now. Eagle and the Hedgehog Wave. Hi everyone. Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. And welcome, Pudgy and Hedgehog, Pudgy and Cobalt. All right. Yeah. Yeah. 6 months has done him in financially. Thank you, Agent Pepsi One. We had sad faces. Food has been great, reasonably priced. Desserts have been out of the world. Yes, out of the world. Yeah, I know, Snort. Hello, DJ Play Nice. Welcome. All right. I think I've caught up with everybody in the comments. Okay. Now, as always, Legatus is already on top of things. Witness Doom's life from his earliest moments to the day he took the throne of Latveria. A dark and revealing examination of how an innocent boy grows up to be a tyrant. A new twist on an old legend. I will tell you this one, you've heard Dr. Doom's origins. You've heard various and sundry you've seen various and sundry origins of them, but this is probably the darkest tone that we've got out there. So I liked it. Okay, so without any further ado, let's go to it. Okay. All right, where are you? Okay. Even that cover. Oh my gosh. Even the cover is scary. I mean, he looks like a cross. He looks like a cross between Dr. Doom and the Red Skull. So, all right. So there it is, Books of Doom. We may only get like through one book. So this may be a serial review, but it will be done. So let us begin. The come on. All right. The writer is Ed Brubaker, who I've liked his work. I've really liked his work. Penciler Pablo Raimondi, inker Mark Farmer, with Drew Hennessy and Robin Riggs. Colorist Brian Reber. Letterers are Virtual Calligraphy's Russ Wooten. Cover art is Pablo Rivera. And then there's all the assistant editors. Okay. And of course, Dr. Doom was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby way back in the day. All right. There's that cover again. So, book one. Doc Doom is talking to somebody, and he's saying that he remembers everything. And he remembers everything from the beginning of his conception. Okay. And then he says his awareness began in his mother's womb. So he remembered when he was after he conceived. He 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 she was a gypsy, and she was also dealing in the dark arts. So he speculates that it's probably the demons that um, she dealt with that caused his awareness. And his father didn't believe it, but his mother knew. She said, "You are not like other boys." And her hands were always so cold. So he again, he's telling about his mother, that she had a dark shadow in her eyes, and hands were always cold, as ice. And his father, who was a doctor or a healer, since they were gypsies, he tried to stop her from doing this madness. And then she says she's doing it for their people, because they were being persecuted by the Baron who ruled Latveria. So, and Legatus says a gypsy, a nomadic or free spirited person. Yep. So she wanted to get power. He said, "Don't get this kind of power." But of course, she didn't listen. So he says, of course, father was right. Mother did not understand the sacrifices her desires would demand, nor the power that she sought would be beyond her abilities. So she does a spell, and what it did is she just decided to get vengeance on the Baron's men, because besides keeping them on the run, they beat and stole their earnings, and of course did the bad things to the women. Of course, I can't say what it was because of YouTube. So next thing you know, the spell killed soldiers, but they took every life of the life of every child in a village, and the survivors chased her, and she ended up dying in her husband's arms. She said something to him that he, of course, never said to Victor. And then I find this really cool that they do like video. They've got video recordings of various people in the in the in the in the story. And so this guy, Gustav von Klompen, a member of the Klan, said that the last words were about Victor, and which pretty much warned her husband to make sure Victor stays away from the dark places, and recalls the funeral. She was buried in an unmarked grave. They were getting ready to leave before the Baron's men decided to figure out what was going on with the village and chase the tribe. And of course, Victor is looking a little bitter. I love that look on his face. But he could read their faces, and everybody, he could tell that they were all scared. Now Victor's father was not only the healer, but a friend of the tribe and also their leader. And of course, they blame him because of her madness that his mother did. Boris was saying that Werner and Victor should leave the tribe. And then someone actually said that she's a witch, she's got black arts, and blamed her for their misfortune. And Doom said, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My mother and father loved these people. They were our family, and they were going to cast us out. They were calling my mother names right over her grave. And then he lost it. He was just 4 years old, and then he spoke up. He said, shut up. And of course, he's saying, he's touting how great he is. He said his intelligence and vocabulary were far beyond most of the group. So he persuaded them to keep his father and him with the tribe. And when the interviewer asked what did he say, Doom said, nah, not important. And then go back to the other person, Klemper. He said, I'll tell you what he said because I'll never forget it. And he says, Victor chilled them to the bone. When she said, in essence, she said, if they cast them out, he will grow up exactly like her, and that he would track them down, and whatever she was is nothing compared to him. So it scared the tribe. It scared the tribe. Because they knew that he was his mother's child, and they never spoke of it again. And then they moved. They went on the move. They didn't speak of her mother, or at least not of her magic or what she did. And his father was hoping that Victor would forget all the darkness of hers, and but he said he remembers everything. So as time went on, they did not dwell on her loss, and then he started hanging out with a woman named Valeria, or a girl named Valeria. And as you can see, they had a little playful banter, which ended up in a splash. Okay. Okay. Let's see. So, let's see. Okay. Let's go on. I'm looking to see. Okay. So they're doing some playful banter. And they actually became very good friends, and he actually wanted to marry her. And then another bad thing was happening. Well, the Baron's wife got ill, and they wanted a healer, so they went to his father, and he rode off with the Baron. So Victor is very skeptical on this, so he runs off. And then his father comes back that night, or the next day, the next evening, and Victor says, or Werner says, let's get out of here. She was already riddled with cancer, and the Baron wants to blame him for the death. So they rode off. So they went into the mountains of the Latverian Alps. Remember, Latveria is in Eastern Europe, close to the Alps. So they had to go through the mountains, and so they had a treacherous path to go. And then the horse ran off, leaving them to trudge through the snow and the ice. The men were coming after them, and Victor was saying they have to fight. Now, as they are freezing, Werner was protecting his son. They did give up, but in the process, he was frozen. He froze to death. Victor was ready to die himself, and he just thought about his mother, and he found out that his mother was being held by demons. Boris found him. He was not dead. He but then he died at their camp, and the Baron took the body away to show the Baron. The Baron's men took his body as a prize. Now, of course, and here's another chilling face of Victor. He was angry, and he just became cold. Okay. So that is where they are at. Okay. And here I am talking about Doctor Doom, and we got they're discussing Lorena from my books. Okay. Alrighty. So now another member of the clan being recorded saying that he pushed Valeria away, and she comes crying to her friend saying that Victor is suffering but won't let Valeria help him. And then they just discovered that he found his mother's effects, a strongbox, among his father's things, and then starts studying the dark arts. And so he learns magic with the sole goal of saving his mother. Then he decided to work on science. He thought he can combine the two, science and magic, so he could force the black arts to follow his rules. And he mastered science very quickly, as well as he did sorcery. And he helped them with his gadgets helped his people. And he was at 16, he became the leader. So mainly because of his intellect. And he thought that Valeria was probably an equal because of their love, but then they started growing apart because he saw sadness in her eyes. Man, editorial comment is this artwork is just absolutely wonderful. It brings up, you could see this reminds me of an old horror movie like in Transylvania. The artwork here, it's so dark and foreboding. And then the look on the way that he draws Victor is just wow. Okay. Let's see. Hello, Matt G, alias whatever, and whatever. Taylor Swift, etc., etc., etc. Right. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Okay, so except that all right, let us continue. Okay, so he's becoming even more grim, and she's very sad, and I'm not sure if she's afraid of him yet. So he just thinks she doesn't understand. So, and he continues to work on magic. She He says, she didn't understand that everything I've done, all the inventions and displays of power, were merely a digression along my true path. My ever frustrating attempts to reach the nether realms to find her mother. And that was his only goal. Um, and he just, vengeance to him was an afterthought. So he's doing the little the little symbol. Okay, so he decided he one night he he was walking and frustrated that he failed again, and he lost his place, and then all of a sudden falls into a patrol, and there's the one of the Baron's men ready to who ambushes him. And of course, Doom didn't have any of his inventions. So, but he stared him down. The man said, "You're that Von Doom." And he's just saying that he's going to deliver his head and be rich. And then all of a sudden, he decides to lunge at lunge at the man and actually throttles him to death, chokes him to death. So, and so this is the first time he actually killed somebody in cold blood. And he ran away thinking this is probably what his mother felt that night. And then he realized at that time that he was his mother's son. And I love how you've got Doom in the background as he's telling the story. He goes back home, and he's feeling the guilt, and but then as he was at a very low spot, Boris comes in, and he introduces Victor to a to a man who just came in from the U.S., saying that that Victor Von Doom is famous and that he's a hard man to find, and he asks what he can do. So this he was a general, came to the U.S. thinking that that the U.S.'s enemies would find Dooms first, or Victor first, and he was offered money, and to study in the finest schools and laboratories in the world. And Doom thought another time he might have struck a harder bargain to pay a bigger price, but all he wanted to do was leave Latveria. And so he made a deal, and thus he would go to America. Love that airplane look. Love the airplane look. All right. That is the end of book 1. All right. So, so there is book 1. Want to try another? I think we can get another one in. We can go into book 2. Let's see. Let's go before we get started. Let's go see. Let's see here. Agent Pepsi 1, you're going to be great. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, and don't worry, we rehearse a lot. Just ask Anti-Derivative Jill. Okay. Okay. All right. So, yes, we've learned that the boy Doom was very much an outsider since his very much an outsider since his earliest days. Okay. Let's see. The goddess says, I always thought Doom more for more of the science, math, logic than magic. Well, now we're finding out more. But it does explain why he was planned for all sorts of stuff. So knowing magic adds to that thinking planning. Only because Hungry is teaching me things. I'm sorry, but that Doom on the right looks bad. Ooh, I don't know. I don't like that. But only because Hungry is teaching me things. Ah, the goddess is scared of Agent Pepsi 1 now. Uh-huh. Okay, I can't wait. I can't wait till. All right, so let us continue. Do I have it back up? No, I don't. Share screen. Okay, so we're gonna try and get it book 2. We'll get to book 2. I don't think we're gonna get into any more. So all right, so this is book 2. I like the cover of this one. That harkens back to the FF 100, where Reed and Doom were doing their battle, and then on the bottom you see Reed, and Victor. So he's saying he didn't have any papers, no visa. It's all he had as credentials was his intellect. And of course, he knew that the hosts were going to harness it. And they welcome him to the United States. And they give him, let's see, let me go back. The general's saying they're going to have a great relationship. Doom always is very skeptical and all business, so he shows them the lab. It's very close to State University, and he's saying they'll attend classes during the days, but then he'll be working in the laboratory. And in essence, he says, if we don't have it, I understand you can probably make it. So he gives them the tour, and they are going to take him to the university, and they want him to meet another student. So he did this to escape Latveria, and he knew that they wanted him so that they can be superior. And of course, Doom is over there looking at all the devices that he never thought he would see, and he realized that he would not be the only one being used. Let me quote this. And I realized, but standing in that laboratory, I saw things I never dreamed would be within my grasp. And I realized that Von Doom would not be the only one being used in this bargain. So he starts delving into education. He said he doesn't remember the soldier. He doesn't remember murdering him, and all he felt was his parents' embrace, and he slept. And then he goes to the interviewer says, I thought originally you were supposed to room with Reed Richards. Didn't you meet him this day? And Doom says, I did meet him in the science lab. He was the other student the general had mentioned. And it was mentioned that they share a dorm room, but he was always going to have a room of his own with a secret lab attached. And of course, he's being Mr. Charming and says he doesn't need any roommates. And he just he felt that his meeting with Richards had no impression on him. He was just so lost in thought, looking at all the promises. And then only a few weeks later, Doom was having an argument with a professor that he's over there pretty much putting the professor down. The professor says, I'm afraid you lost me, Victor. And the professor says, well, wonders never cease. Doom is saying that time is not flowing and that it's constant. and pretty much saying that time is a physical dimension. And Reed pretty much confirms Doom's hypothesis, saying his experiments have already scratched the surface of other realms. And he says that poltergeists and alien sightings may be instances where the planes of reality are briefly visible. The professor thinks that's a great statement, but Doom just says, I'll ask for your help when I need it. What an arrogant SOB. What an arrogant SOB. So he did respect Reed's intellect, but again, Doom is thinking that the entities on the other side are not good entities. And he did not like the American culture. He said those insipid Americans caring about nothing but sports and beer and manufactured romantic melodrama. And pretty much he is just so disgusted with it. And he said he could have had any of them because he was handsome, confident, and he was foreign. But he did get... He did have groupies. But he focused on his work. Okay. Let's see. Snort. For a small fee, I could eat the students. Do these workshop seminars include lots of bottles of the bubbly stuff? If the bubbly stuff is sodas, then it's phenomenally boring. If you want to hear Tasha cursing like the most foul-mouthed sailor ever, tune in the week before the 29th. All right. Hello, Tim. Hi, FKHC. How you doing, buddy? Who says... In the words of Jose Feliciano, light my fire, light my fire, light my fire, yeah. Light my fire. Let's see. Sports and beer in a laboratory full of unthinkable. All right. Okay. So... let's get back to it. Okay, so he also doesn't think much of the military. They didn't even realize he had an agenda, but he gave them some trinkets. He brought out a robot. He said, "Good Lord, son, and you say we can program these for combat? It's still early yet, but I do foresee that, yes. And he just felt that not everybody wants to be part of the American dream. And then he started to build a device in his private library or laboratory, wanting to, again, another attempt to save his brother. So 3 years have gone by. He's continued the studying, his experimentation, and deceiving. He did grow cocky. And he says he forgot why he left his homeland. So he went to a kegger and to see how the rabble, as he thought, was how the rabble lives. And of course, we see Ben. He says, "Tell me that isn't that oaf Ben Grimm, surrounded by all those cooing females." And Ben's the big man on campus. Kurtz has been having female companionship just by telling other gals that he's Doom's assistant. So he ends up, probably after his first drink of an adult beverage, he starts walking with a beautiful girl, telling her about Latveria, and she kissed him. And it wasn't like Valeria. It wasn't like Valeria's kisses. No, this was as we'll quote this. No, this was nothing gentle about this girl. Not that I minded, but when I looked into her eyes, I didn't see the beauty and intelligence of my mother or of Valeria. I saw only emptiness, and I couldn't allow it. So now he's ready to kill another person, thinking that she got behind his defenses. And look at that face. He's just ready to. You could see the murder in his eyes. And he chokes her. She pleads. And then he remembers not only his mother, but the man he killed in Latveria. And then he runs away. So, and then he expected criminal action, and he was starting to work on a story. But nobody came to arrest him, and the girl left the school. He said her shame overwhelmed him as well as it should have. Kurtz is being interviewed as well. He tells her name to the interviewer, and that she was trying to press charges, but somebody talked to the military, and it was hushed up, and she was yanked out of school. He continued his studies, and everybody was scared of him. To quote, Victor went from being the eccentric foreign exchange student whose quirks we mostly just tolerated to someone who literally scared the hell out of us. And the military knew, but they didn't care. They just wanted him to produce. And then he continued his studies, his experiments, and his work on robotics. And he actually tells them about the time machine that he built. And he told them about the time, and he said, how far can they perfect it? And he said that the chimpanzees, both chimpanzees are the same chimpanzee. One is from a week in the future, and he looks like he's going to have a test. He said Richards joined the program, and Doom said Richards turned him down, but then he changed his mind because he wants to get into the space program and will do some work with this crew. And Doom says, keep him out of the way, and they keep Victor out of the way. And he's telling the robots, and I'm sure he's lying, that there are some logic problems with the robots that he's working out. He's saying that they think they're people, making them harder to program. And even though he hated the men, he enjoyed the work. And then he's getting ready for the experiment in his private laboratory. It sounds like it would give Doom access to other planes of existence, so he could free his mother. Reed comes in to talk to Victor. Found the room empty. He starts looking at his work, and Doom comes in and tells him he was sorry, and he's saying he can't read. Richards can't understand the equations, and Doom throws him out of the room because he doesn't want to collaborate. Doom knew that there wasn't. Whoa, there's Dr. Doom on the phone. So Doom is ready for the work because what he did is he combined magic and science and knew he was going to access the other plane. And Kurtz was helping him, and he was turning on the device. The place was blown up, and he lost his degree and his eye. So it happened that Victor was disappearing, and then Kurtz thought that Doom was saying something when actually Doom did pierce another realm. So he goes to the other plane. He sees his mother in another realm, and she says that why did Werner let this happen? And she tells him to flee. And there is the demon. I think this demon was Mephisto. It looks so much like Mephisto. So the demon throws him back, and the machine was destroyed. And he heard his mother scream. He heard his mother scream as the device was blown up. So all of a sudden, everything falls apart for Doom. He's in the hospital, and he lets the dean lets Doom know that he was expelled, and he didn't care. He was just at a very low and dark place, and the general said his expulsion would not affect his work for his people, and he was just in self-pity over his failure. Okay, let's see here. Let's back up. All right, let's see. A truant officer has to be sent to get Agent Pepsi back to school, so she naturally cusses and curses at him. Let's see. More like Darth Vader in a tow truck. Needs to use the Force in the truck to get me back. The goddess says Ben Grimm had all the girls. Wow. Well, he was a football star. He was a football star. All right. Okay. No, it didn't. I think we got a couple of spitzes. Okay.
You were supposed to stay in New York. You're not supposed to go down.
Uh-oh. Sounds like Trike.
Trike was next door at the church, playing with the kids.
What? Oh boy, we have an imp of a dog. Evidently, Trike played with kids in the church. Yeah. Cue the Great Escape music. Yeah, that's going to be Trike's song. Okay. All right, let's go back. So Doom is sulking with bandages on his face. Of course, we never see the extent of his wounds. I mean, those have been so speculated throughout the history of Doctor Doom and the Fantastic Four. So we don't know how he looks. And then he looks at it, and he sees his ruined face. And I love how in the background, after he's taken off the bandages, how Dr. Doom was hiding hiding his eyes. And he says, my face was ruined, but worse still, in my scars, I could still feel the demon's claws touching me. And when I looked at what was left of me, the cold fire touched me but to my soul, and his voice echoed in my mind, accompanied by mother's screams. Okay. He calls himself a fool who would never look at himself in the mirror again. And he was plotting an escape. He was not going to stay with the Americans anymore. So he activates his robots and they start destroying things, destroying all his work. And his robots start attacking, and then they self-destruct and blow up his lab. They want to arrest him, but he's already gone. And so he's leaving America and thinking he's never going to see his homeland again. And I love these two lines. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Does it hurt much? More than you can know. And that takes us to that takes us through the Books of Doom Part 2. We will continue this on at another time because it is 7:09, unless people want to get another book in. What do you think? As I'm going through, let's see. Let me get some water. Take care, Agent Pepsi 1. I know. Oh, you're going to come back. She's going to make dinner. Presentation, Books of Doom, Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Yeah. All right. Let's do 3. Let's see. We can get 3. All right. Cobalt and Pudgy say, show notes, then Sandra Fudge ice cream date. Oh, that sounds good. That's good. All right. Okay, that sounds good. Legata says it's a 6-part story. Let's do 3 today and 3 next time. That works. All right. So let me. Okay. Yes. Okay. Oh, I love that cover. I love that cover of Doom. Oh, these are really chilly. Okay, so he is somewhere. Fighting his sanity. And getting back the nightmares. And there. Let me just do something here. The nightmares attacking. He's arguing with the demon. And tormenting Doom, as well as his mother. And he wakes up. So he's in Eastern Europe. And he just continues to think he's a failure. And like I said, there's Doom. Doom in the background. I think that's the most chilling thing. You see Doom in the background. Okay, so he's in self-pity, and he's in self-pity, and he starts wandering, and he finds this guy called Otto, and has warned him to stay away from him. And Doom says, stay away from him. So he is wandering the streets and realizing that people are going to leave him alone. And then he goes and works on devices. He says, I suppose my rooms must have looked like those of a madman, but a madman is often nothing more than a broken genius. He is now intercepted with some communist agents and he says they try to get him to work for the Soviets. And Victor says, no, I'm not. And Victor, they try to manhandle him, and he pulls out one of his devices. He's pretty much saying, let's only work against men who have things to live for. You're KGB, you should realize it. So he brings out a little device, and it startles them. And he says, Doom is not for sale, and doesn't want anything to do with the Soviets or the Americans. And he says he's not afraid to die. And no one is continuing to bother. So he continues the nightmares. He continues the nightmares, continuing the tinkering, knowing he's going to lose his money. So he yells at Otto, throws him out, and walks around. He all of a sudden sees Valeria. And he's asking how did she find him? She tells him the story. So evidently the Baron has been terrorizing the caravan, wanting clues to Doom and wanting to deliver Doom to the United States. Boy, what a sweetheart of a guy. And so people were worried about Doom. And then a fortune teller told Valeria that he'd seen a vision and led her to him. So they sent her to Valeria, and they were hoping that she could heal him, and to bring him back to Latveria. So he was feeling happy. He was happy with her. He actually revealed his damaged face, and they actually rekindled the relationship and got intimate. And of course, it's not going to last. And he loses the he forgets about the dalliance with the college girl, and his nightmares fade away. And she's persuading him to go back to Latveria. She's seen him smile, and he's still skeptical. He doesn't want to. He just feels that it's horrible, and it's killed his parents, etc. Valeria says it's our home, nothing else matters. He's telling Otto to go away, that he's a drunk, and Valeria is asking why she's cruel to him. And she says he's just a sad little man who lost everything he cared about. Life isn't always easy, and tells him he should know better than that. He should know that better than anyone. And then all of a sudden, they're intercepted by the KGB. Woof. And he's telling her and them to leave her alone. And he says that he's threatening Valeria's life. In other words, they planned Valeria's visit to Doom. And then there is Christos. He said, what was I to do? Let the Baron and the Russians kill me? They needed a way to get to Von Doom. I just did what I had to do to survive. And so they told him how to get to Doom. And he convinced Valeria to do it. And he said, I'll come, and they're going to keep her. Keep her as a hostage so that he continued his work. But then some magic happened. There was a force field around here. And then some movement, and then there was magic. It protected Valeria and killed the soldiers. And then he saw Otto. Bleeding out. And he told Doom that he came from a mountain. He came from a mountain in Tibet. And they had the legend that a person lost everything, that hid his face from the world, would come to the temple and become their master. And he explained that Doom is the student. And he tells them to find the temple and they will start teaching him. And he tells Valeria to go home. And he says that he's the one that's different. And he turns his back to her. And here he says, but I knew that the Baron of Latveria would face my vengeance one day. He'd meddled with what was left of the heart of Von Doom, and he would pay for what he did to me and to Valeria. And there, as he walks away from Latveria, is the end of book 3. And we will continue the other 3 books probably in the next couple of weeks. So let's go here. It's a 6-part story. Let's do 3 today and 3 next time. Yep. Right. Let's see. The Chinese, however, he will sell his country out. Yep. Okay. Her name was Valeria. Evidently, he kept that obsession because he also when he saved Reed and Sue's daughter, he asked for the privilege of naming the daughter, and Sue agreed, and thus she is named Valeria. It was strange magic. Yes, it was. Tibetan magic. All right. So we are at a halfway point between Books of Doom, and I would so what did you guys think of the first 3? I know it's halfway point. We probably want to get our thoughts come the end of the series. But what did you guys think so far? I thought it was well, we're going to figure that out. I've got to actually I'm thinking it'll be by probably either the end of this month or early August. I got to check with my readers. But we got show notes.
Show notes with Mr. Rain. Show notes with Sandra too. Mr. Raymond, push the button.
All right. Right now on show notes, we've got on the 17th, we're going to have Max Redstone talk about his work with drones. On the 24th, we will continue the Books of Doom. And like I said, we'll probably work on a time for the next installment of Radio King Dolphin TV. I have to figure out where we want to go and get the voice actors together. So, and then of course, Just 'Cause every Saturday night, unless there's an away mission. And we will have the usual chaos, the fun and mischief. And that's it. Hopefully, I'll get some more interviews. Hopefully, we'll get some more interviews in. Legata says, I've never heard of the magic demon aspect of Doom's origin story before. I hadn't either until this, but I know that Doom was very much into magic. There was a very good later story of when Doom really got into magic, but I'm not going to spoil that because that we may do that we may be doing that as a review. Okay, Snorty says, take care of the human dolphin doggo, Dalek ferret eagle, hedgehog, and Laotian giant flying squirrel. Remember, this is copyrighted and trademarked by Snorter Poopa Screwbeer, a fully owned subsidiary of King Dolphin TV. Cobalt and Pudgy say, yay, and I love that avatar. For the longest time, I agree, Legatus. I always thought it was an experiment gone wrong, and Richards was to blame, as he was near warned something wrong might happen, and it did. There's so many various and sundry stories of the disaster. Sandra says the pop culture breakdown link isn't out yet, but do a pod raid. Please do a pod raid. And Snorter Pooper says the King Dolphin Traveling Voice Actor Company. Yep. All right. That is show notes.
Shows with Mr. Rain. Shows with Sandra too. Mr. Raymond, push the button.
Yeah. The company travels by waterways and devil rays. Yep. Yes, they do. All right. Let me thank everybody that came here tonight. And I had a good time. I hope everybody enjoyed this review. Not so much a review, but a storytelling. And I like doing these. I really do. So we're going to call it a night, and then I got to figure out about this. I got to figure out Trike the Escape Artist. I think we may have to call him Trike Dini. Because I'll tell you the story on Just Cause as soon as I figure it out. Okay. Cobalt says, bye, everyone, and a good show. Well, thank you, Cobalt. Thank you, Pudgy. All right. And Snorty says, hail, that's right. Okay. All right, so let us thank our guests who have visited. We had Cobalt Bald Eagle. We had DJ Play Nice. We had Tim, FKHC, 2005. We had Matt G, etc., etc., etc. And okay, that is Yay, we need more story times, Uncle Dolphin. Okay. I sure will. And there's the pop culture breakdown link. All right. And let's see. And now my amazing wrenches, starting out with my wonderful producer, Sandra, my muse, my better half, the hunter down of Trike. I love you, honey. We had Agent Pepsi 1 getting ready for her audition for Radio King Dolphin TV. We had the first one in, the last one out. Legatus Legionnaire, who says, yay, we need more story times, Uncle Dolphin. Yeah, we haven't. I didn't finish the Fantastic Four annual #1. We still got to wrap that one up. Okay. We had Pudgy Hedgehog here. Yay, Pudgy. We had the Comic Relief Crusader. Huge. Huge. And then finally, lastly, but not leastly, Slow up, Pupas! Q-bar.screen. #roar. Randy really wanted to come on, so I gave her a chance to come on. So that's what happened. We may see more of her, but she may have to knock off either Sniffles or Major Kong. We'll have to see. Let's get a vote on that. Who do we want to see? Sniffles, Kong, or Randy? Think about it. We'll vote on just because. All right. Great show. Hail Doom. Snort, I didn't know you were a fan of Doom. I don't know. Okay. Trike, starring in Escape from the Felicianos. And Snort says, hail Randy. All right. Well, that's it for tonight. I wish you all a great rest of the week. We will see you on Just Cuz on Saturday. And we will hear more about the adventures of Trike. And after I have a talk with him. And I want you all to be safe, be happy. I love you all, and catch you on Saturday. Bye, y'all.